We are starting Top Shelf Tuesdays by looking at the last 14 days of what would normally be the NHL, but it's the Olympics hockey, I guess. Stick around for the potty, join in the break, buckle up. There's a bit to get through. Just another week so far. Boring. Let's get down to the news desk. No time like the present, Will. My preseason prediction update, if you remember back, was a blue, white and gold Finland winning the Olympics. I said they'd pull off the Olympic miracle, defeating a star-studded Canada in a gold medal overtime thriller. We got a little bit of the way there. We certainly got our star-studded Canada losing in a gold medal overtime thriller. But we should speak a little bit about how we got there. And USA 6-2 over Slovakia were convincing. They were convincing pretty much the whole way through the tournament, to be fair. Canada, meanwhile, got over Finland 3-2, who went on to win bronze. And they just overcame Czechia 4-3 in the quarterfinals. They didn't really have the most unbelievable run outside of their preliminaries matches where they stomped a few teams, but yeah, you got to feel bad for Italy. They got smacked around, including an 11-0 shellacking from Finland. Finland deserving bronze winners. I was upset they didn't get through to the gold and give my Canadians a run for their money. But alas, we got to our gold medal game, Will. And it came down to the biggest rivalry in hockey. USA versus Canada in a intense battle at the Milano Santa Giulia Ice Arena. A single goal in sudden death decided it all. But in your first period, Canada came out with physicality everywhere. But in the first genuine, that's the wrong spot for that image. That's McKinnon missing the wide open goal. There it is. That's the one I was looking for. In the first period of the game, Minnesota's own Matt Boldy, look at him just storm through two defense players from Canada and say, I'll take the middle. A little swipe left, a little swipe right. Split that defense. Look at him. First shot on net. Goal. 1-0 USA. And Celebrini had a good period. Marchand had a couple of really costly bobbles, although both sides did. The intensity off the charts. Strong first period by both teams, including a critical penalty kill for the Canadians to avoid any further score sheet disaster. Second period got underway, and I didn't think it'd get more intense, but it did. The pressure up a notch. Canada felt like they took a hold of the game with Connor Hellebuyck under a stack of pressure in the goal. And if we scroll on through the images, two quick penalties later, a 5-3 was surely what the Canadians would need Anyabu to score. Nope. USA killed both, and after being in the position for over a minute and a half, they got back to full strength both ways, and then Cale Makar finally found the back of the net for Canada. They spent the majority of the second period hanging in the USA defense. They just kept peppering the goals, and after a couple of quick passes just inside their offensive third, Makar slapped daddies at home, a perfect shot, and we were even at 1-1. The third period and return of the Mac. We've got to go back in the images a little bit here in a tick. Because in the third period, this one, your boy Nathan McKinnon will be losing sleep over for the next 4 years. A return of the Mac Daddy. Celebrini had a chance after a great turnover, and the pressure just continued to boil. The kettle was a whistling Dixie. Then Nathan McKinnon, the second highest scoring player in the NHL, had a wide open net. For the first time in the game, Connor turned around and somehow Somehow McKinnon whiffed it left. Hits the post off the strings as well. The most straightforward chance of the game for either team. And that's not going to sit well. No, Will, you can't get it any easier than that. And for the second highest scoring player in the NHL right now, that is a gimme. I couldn't believe it, to be honest. I don't think anyone else did that McKinnon missed that goal. But Canada kept attacking and attacking and attacking and attacking. Both tendies had some good stops in the third, particularly Hellebuck. He was incredible. And we go, Pete, to the overtime thriller in Milan. Now, because I diced the image order, we've got to go back and forwards. And there it is, the overtime with two teeth missing. From an earlier high-sticking penalty, Jack Hughes ends the 46-year drought on the anniversary of the miracle on ice. There was a 50-50 reach in the defensive third for the USA. But the puck came loose, and after a few little moments, a few short, sharp passes, if you will, Jack Hughes waltzes down Main Street with enough time to set up a camp, stabs Canada straight through the 5-hole, and the 3-on-3 overtime was done. It was never, ever going to last long, not with that firepower that both teams have. And after the females ended their campaign the same way with an OT loss to the USA, the Connor McDavid wounds had salt rubbed in, named MVP of the tournament. Cue all the bridesmaid memes and never the bride. Geez, those memes aren't going anywhere. Overall, it was amazing to see the Olympics featuring the best players in the world again. But USA claim all the happiness and nothing for Canada except a teddy bear and a silver medal. Out of the Olympics, though, there were a few injuries that are worth talking about. Mikko Rantanen will sit out at least one game for the Stars after returning from the Olympics. He didn't play in Finland's win over Slovakia for the bronze medal because of a lower body injury. The bad one was Kevin Fiala, that leg injury suffered in Switzerland's loss to Canada. That season ending. Dunsky for the Kings star. And Sid the Kid chose to sat out the gold medal game. Likely his last Olympics, with a call made on his injury that he suffered at the hands of Czechia, made as late as possible, but no bueno. We'll give a quick look at the power rankings. We won't bother with the standings because we spoke about those pre-Olympics. But I've changed up my power rankings just a little bit. Colorado Avalanche, I've taken them off the top and I've got them knocked off. I'm not going to lie, the McKinnon miss doesn't help. They were 4-5-1 over their last 10 anyway, whereas Tampa Bay are 8-1-1. I've got them in first spot. They've won 5 in a row coming off the Olympic break, primed and ready for the back end of the season, which means Colorado go to 2. Still the best overall standing in the competition, and maybe have just taken their foot off the pedal a bit to preserve themselves for playoffs. Who knows? They're still plus 74, which is incredible, and 15 better than the Lightning. Importantly, still atop the stacked Central West. Third is Mitchell Lee's. No, it's the Carolina Hurricanes. 8 wins from the last 10, standing on top of the Metro Mountain. And we have some NHL games returning, which means I get to give you my tips. Thursday games are back, baby. My Buffalo Sabres on a wagon. Even though I'm wearing a Maple Leafs jersey, I do have a soft spot for the Sabres. They were my preseason prediction to go deep, deep, deep. Expect a close game there, Yandog, but give me them Sabres. They are on a wagon. The Flyers go to Washington, and the depth and structure of Washington should be enough to contain Philly at home. My Maple Leafs that I'm wearing, I'm just going to hide them down here because they go up against Tampa. And Austin Matthews just won gold, but not sure here. The Lightning really should win their butter. Seattle Kraken at the Dallas Stars. Dallas is going to be way too good for the Kraken here. Stars by a stretch. Colorado, this might be a little revenge game for Nathan McKinnon. I'm calling Avalanche in a big way over Utah. This will be some sort of pain for Utah. The Winnipeggers up against the Vancouver Canucks. They're done for the season. They're done, chat. Already looking at the draft, and that's going to be a Jets win. Kings, interesting now without Kevin Fiala. Be tight, but I think the Kings just at home. Edmonton, well, if it was a revenge game for Nathan McKinnon, it's sure as shit going to be a revenge game for Connor McDavid. He might be joining him in destroying a team. So look out, Ducks. Oilers, easy. That's all. Matthews will win, but get the bread, man. Look, not a lot of people wanted him to captain the USA. Less people believed that he would do anything of importance. He wasn't like Connor McDavid to Canada. He defensively was quite important. He had a couple of pokes on the puck in the gold medal game that were really influential and just got the puck moving their way. I thought he was better than expected, but at the end of the day, he still has a forehead that we could project the entire Olympics replay on, and that's my captain. Anywho, that, ladies and gentlemen, is our NHL Top Shelf Tuesday potty. Thank you for joining into the potty.